Katie Melua with us. Hi, Katie.
Hello. Well, it's so lovely to be here.
Yes, it's marvelous that you came here again to Warsaw and you start your tour
The
in
whole
Warsaw.
tour. I know. I'm very excited. It's,
Could you say hello to our listeners?
Yes. Hi, everyone listening to Troika. It's an absolute pleasure to be here in Poland, to be starting the tour. I'm so grateful to be invited back. So thank you.
Could you say something about this tour? What can we expect here?
Okay, so this is a tour. It's my first one as a mum. So I have my 5 months old with me, and it's kind of a big deal. And the reason why I mention it is because a lot of the themes of becoming mum, of falling in love with my son's dad, Sandro's dad, Ollie, are on the record. You know, so the record that I'm going to be playing songs from on this tour is filled with happy memories of, in a way, letting go of the pessimism I had about long-term relationships.
And this anniversary tour as well.
It is,
20
yes. It's 20 years since Call of the Search, which is crazy. It's so mad.
I don't know how you make it. You are looking like 10 years younger than a few years ago.
Thank you so much.
Being a mother changed you, I think.
I think having music in your life gives, like, I don't know, and I'm so happy to be making records and to be singing songs. And also I have a really great team that help me to, do it in a sustainable way where we don't sort of exhaust ourselves, because it's very easy, like music is so addictive and it's so easy to kind of work yourself to the ground. But I think if you do it in a smart way, if you have a team that support that, and we each understand that actually the most important thing is family.
Your brother is working with you on this record.
Yeah, he's I'm so proud that he's such a phenomenal guitarist and brilliant composer. So yeah, there's a couple of songs that we've written together. So yeah, it's a family affair.
But your brother is playing heavy metal music normally?
Yeah. I mean, it took a long time for him to come onto the lighter side of things.
I think this record was a big surprise for me. It's very, very close to you and very personal and full of hope, but some sad moments, especially at your video clips that for the two singles, the cleaning lady and the guy at the fish and chips. It's not very happy picture.
Well, you know what, Love and Money, the video that you're talking about, tells a story which, I mean, I have experience in it, but of course my version is an exaggerated version. I'm also coming from an immigrant family. We moved to the UK. I mean, many people know this, from Georgia, from Eastern Europe.
From where as well?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very common story. And what you do is you move to the wealthier country, and then because obviously the socio-economic situation is so much, the difference is so huge that you send back home money and love, and you look after your family back home, and yeah, I wanted to talk about that because it's not really something I've discussed too much. And then in the video we wanted to tell that story from the perspective of someone who works in the house and is missing all the birthdays and all missing their kids growing up back home.
And you are singing about the very particular city, the name of the city.
Kutaisi,
yeah.
Yes.
That's really your name?
So Kutaisi is where I was born. Used to be the capital of Georgia, yeah. And I mean, Kutaisi is amazing. It's I spent some time there when I was in Georgia, but we mostly spent time in Tbilisi and Batumi. But it's a beautiful city, and it's my birth town.
And listening to your record, sometimes I feel like you try to put the music much more silent than before. There's no orchestrations. The piano sometimes like situated in a corner of the room. The drums are like in a video covered with towel.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's interesting to experiment. We actually went into Real World Studios, which is the Peter Gabriel owned studios near Bath in England, and it's an iconic, legendary studio. We worked with some incredible musicians. They were so phenomenal, and for me, like, the song does have to work in an acoustic way, so before we take the song to the musicians, But then once the musicians have it, I really want them to have freedom. I think it's really interesting that you think they're not at the forefront. They definitely had, certain sections of the song where it's like, okay, be free and interpret this the best way you can. It means a great deal. I love that British tradition of making records with a live band and letting them, really have that freedom, not being too reliant on synthesizers or computers. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
And at the concert, how big is your band?
So we have a 4-piece band, not including myself. I've got Joe Yoshida on drums, Tim Harris on upright bass and bass, Mark Edwards on keys, and Zurab Melua on guitars. And they're so good.
You're singing that the Golden Records can be covered with the dust. You are still here with your son, and I remember you've been here before with your mother.
Yes, I know.
Your mother looks like your sister.
Oh, thank you. I will tell her. She'll be very
So
happy.
the family is still very, very important to you. You don't want to leave them behind you.
Of
you want
course.
to be very, very close, even if you are abroad.
Absolutely. But also, when you go on the road, I'm going to be on the road now for 7 weeks. So, of course, I can't leave my 5-month-old at home. And I'm also grateful that my partner, Ollie, he's able to take time off work and he's able to, help out and basically he's the manny. So, I feel very fortunate that, we're able to do that. And, I think it's all about that balance between being a mum and being a working woman.
And do you have a time to relax? The record show that you want to go to a park,
Yes.
to just to the forest, just to take time for you.
Yeah.
You are the most important person in your life now.
Well, my son is the most important person, but you realize, I think after all these years, after 20 years of being in the music industry, that you've got to figure out a way of doing it sustainably and not knock yourself out and not kind of get caught up in this idea of, we didn't sort of reach a certain kind of metric and then you sort of, that then consumes you. It's so important to notice those thinking patterns and just to let go of them and look after the energy.